Hello, welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. I'm about to sow a wildflower meadow on this mound of earth behind me. Now this mound of earth is not just a mound of earth, it's an underground hedgehog house, and I've just finished completing it. Basically it's got a tunnel that goes front to back and there's a nesting or hibernation chamber in the centre. If you want to watch my video on how to make a hedgehog house, I will link it in the description box below this video. This one has also got a camera inside it, so I can see what's going on inside there if hedgehogs move in. My idea really is that this mound of earth, which currently looks quite bare, will eventually be covered in wildflowers, which will be brilliant for the bees and the pollinators in my garden. And my garden has a strong leaning towards wildlife. So in this video I'm going to demonstrate how I approach the task of sowing a wildflower meadow, and I have done this before, so there's several little things that I do which have always worked for me. Now these are called seed shakers and shake and rake boxes of seed. Now I don't always trust that. It worries me because I worry that the seed hasn't been mixed properly, so I take a slightly different approach. Let me tell you what I'm going to do in steps. I'm going to broadly divide the earth up into squares which are approximately equal, and then I'm going to count them, and for every square I'm going to add a jug of sand into this bucket. Then I'm going to put all the seeds in that sand and give it a really good mix up. Then I will distribute them all over the mound and rake them in. So I will be using a rake, but I think this method really does make sure that all the seeds are mixed together properly and distributed evenly. Now this is the entrance to the hedgehog tunnel, and I want this to be completely surrounded by beautiful wildflowers. The first thing I would say is about the quality of the soil. This is very poor quality soil. In fact, it's mainly sand, and that's great for wildflowers. They don't need to be in very enriched fertile soil. They will probably survive anywhere. So this soil being very sandy and gritty and not having quite a lot of organic matter in it will be ideal. Right, first thing I'm going to do now is put a couple of base layers of sand in this pail before I add the seeds to it. And this pile of sand here is actually dug from my garden. My garden is on sand about 18 inches below the surface, and I'm doing a DIY job. I'm putting some drains into that garage behind me. So let's just count these. There's one, and there's two, and I'm putting that in the bottom of there so that when I pour the seeds in on top of that, they don't get stuck in the corners. Right, so remember, we've already got 2 jugs of sand in there. Now this is a piece of wood with another piece of wood screwed in. That's my marking tool. Okay, I'm going to measure this now very, very loosely. 1, 2, 3. So it's 4 meters in that direction. 1, 2, 3 meters in that direction. So I will now endeavour to divide this space into 3 strips a metre wide. So let's just go in with my marking tool like this all the way along. Don't worry about footprints because they will be raked out. I will be using my rake shortly. And there is another one going across there. Little furrows which indicate to me 1 metre, 2 metre, 3 meters, and of course we have 4 meters in the other direction. So trying to avoid the lines I've already made, we should go across like this, and then we should divide that in 2 like that. And you can see now that I have almost like a matrix or a web which is divided into 12 sections. I got these seeds from one box was from Aldi, and 1 box was from Home Bargains, so a bit of variety. And some of them will have fertilizer and also kind of spreading matter to help you to do what I'm doing. So That's another jug, so that's 3.5. This one looks like ready bet. That's 4 jugs. We'll call it 5. 6, 7, 12. Now that needs a really good mix. It's important not to scrimp on the mixing. I'm going to get my gloves off and get my coat off, put my gloves back on, and then get in there with my hands until it's really well combined. Now I'm confident that that is well and truly mixed. I've explored every single corner of this bucket for unmixed bits. Right, it's back to our jug now. We know we've got approximately 12 jugs full in there, and we know we've got 12 squares to sprinkle it on. So this is going to make it more accurate in terms of dividing the seed up evenly. Right, let's get to it. There's 1 jug, and there is 1 square, and on it goes. I will be raking this in a moment. I'm coming all the way down here to ground level because I want the plants to start at the bottom. So over we go with 1 jug full of seeds. Easy as that. I'll now do all 12 squares, and then we'll give it a bit of a rake. So that's that done. It was quite accurate. There's still a little bit left in the bottom of the jug, and they will just get sprinkled randomly around, and finally we shall give that. Great. Now then, many of those seeds will be buried under the sand that I've mixed them into, but just for good measure, let's just give them a raking. I'm doing it kind of in situ. I'm not pushing the sand far. I'm just getting them in. The benefit of using sand is it's a different colour to the sand, to the soil I should say, that was underneath. Therefore you can see where you've done and where you haven't done. Around these bottom sides I'm kind of raking upwards because I'm about to water this, and naturally some of the water will wash some of those seeds down towards the bottom edge of the mound. And so the final part of the process now is just giving this a light watering all over. And this will embed those seeds. It will give them contact with the earth around them, and hopefully with a bit of light and warmth and water, they will very, very quickly start to germinate. Now, if it's very dry, it's important that you do come out and give these another bit of a watering, but not such a heavy watering that it washes the seeds away. Apologies, there's an aeroplane going over. It always happens. So there we are, how to sow a wildflower meadow for butterflies and bees and pollinators. Don't forget, if you want to see how this turns out, I will put a link to a time-lapse video in the description box below this video when it's grown up. Can't do it just yet, obviously. And if you want to see a link to my underground hedgehog bunker, that link will also be in the description box below this video. Hope you've enjoyed that. I really look forward to sharing images of these beautiful wildflower seeds growing over the next few months, and also all the pollinators that come to visit them, and possibly even some hedgehog videos too. Bye for now.